Okay, write the following extract one octave lower in the bass clef. Remember to write in the clef. Okay, this should be pretty straightforward. What we've got to do is take this melody that's written here in the treble clef and move it an octave down and put it in the bass clef. And this is what you tend to find in some of the more advanced theory exams, that you start to have to move melodies up and down by a certain interval. This is relatively straightforward because it's just an octave, so all the notes will be exactly the same. We just need to move the pitch down by an octave. So first thing to do is write in the key signature, and that's slightly more complicated than just copying it from above, because we have to write the sharps on the right lines for the clef that we're using, and this is obviously the bass clef, so there's an F and a C sharp, so we're moving the F and C sharp from the treble clef down to be on the right lines for the F and C sharp on the bass clef. Then we need to write in our time signature, which fortunately for us doesn't really change. Let's write in this menuetto tempo direction. There we go. And we should get started. So we've got to move down an octave. So what is this note here? Well, this is an A that sits below the middle C on the treble clef, and so that relates to this note on the bass clef. But that's not the note we want to start on. Instead, we want to start on this note down here, because we're going down by a whole octave. And so most of this will be the same, just an octave lower. But it'll be worth just being quite careful about things like the direction of the note stems, making sure they look the right way and they look how they should, and just making sure that we've got everything set out in a sensible, logical way that's easy to read in the new clef that it's going to be played in. So, oops, I might just space it out. So this might be a bit boring. I just need to get all of the notes in place. I'll do the first couple of bars first. So that's all right. That's the end of our second bar, and then that is our first bar. Now we need to make a decision here about which way our note stems are going to go, and we've got a couple of choices, because of course this is the middle line, which means that we can go either up or down with these things. And so it could be that we could go up here, and then it could be that we would go either up here or down. Now my decision here is going to be to go down, and the reason for that is, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, we need to get this rhythm right. That's a dotted quaver tied to a semiquaver, so let's just get that in place. That's cool. And then we'll do the same thing here. Same idea. Okay, so why have I chosen to do certain of the stems going upwards and certain stems down? Well, all of it comes down to these slurs and ties that we have to draw over the music, because it'll get a bit awkward if we have some of these going in different directions. So what we have to do first is tie this D to this D, because that's what's in the music. Those Ds are tied together. And then over the top of the whole thing, we have this slur, which we also have to draw in. And the same thing is true for these two notes and these two notes. And so that was the reason why I chose to have the note stems going in the direction that I did, just so that we get this really nice and neat and tidy, and it's really clear which notes are tied together and which notes are slurred. And then we just need to finish this off. So we need to write in our semiquaver rest, which looks like that. That's not very good. Looks like that. And then we're going to be doing the scale. B onto middle C with that one, and then even above middle C we're going into higher territory with these notes here. Okay, and then back to D for the last one. Okay, so we have to make a decision here as to which direction we're going to send our note stems, and again, because we're grouping these ones together with stems that kind of have to go down, I'm going to make all of those go down, and then the same for this one. Make those Same again, and then the same for these ones. Not forgetting our ledger line there. Obviously, you would work hard to make sure this was much neater than I'm doing it freehand. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And then we're going to continue this on to the next line because I don't want to squash this into the last thing. And of course, when we start a new line, we do have to do certain things again. So every line needs to start with the clef and the key signature. Time signature we don't need to worry about, so that can just be written once at the beginning. We have to take this down an octave, so it's on an A. G, F sharp, and that's not really finished, but that's okay. So if we do these three like that, and we need to write a slur over the top of them, and we're also going to write a trill over the top of that one there, and that's not finished, that just kind of continues on, so we don't need to write a bar line really. And that looks pretty good, just to check that we've not missed anything out, so it would be good to put in the MF that's at the start of the music. And then I'm pretty happy with that. I think that looks just as it should, and we've moved everything down an octave, and everything's looking very smart. Okay, so let's move on to the next part, which says, in the first bar of the extract are the notes needed to form a tonic triad of what? So let's have a look at what notes we have in the first bar of this music. We could look at either our new version or the old version and say, well, look, we've got an A, a D, and an F sharp. So we've got, cheating a little bit here by writing them in the right order, which makes it a bit easier, but we've got these three notes, and these three notes, of course, adds together to give us the tonic triad of D major. And so that is the answer to that question, and I will see you in the next one.